Okay, it's 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just to recap my trade on the Dow Micro E-mini, the Micro E-mini futures. Dow, again, I had 6 contracts going into the night. I added a contract at the open, the red candle, big red candle down, and then we've been trending higher ever since. We crossed the 50-day SMA, then the 20-day, I'm sorry, well, looking at this, it's actually, we crossed the 20-day SMA, then the 50-day SMA. We stayed above the 50-day SMA, and then the 20 and 50 crossed, and we've been kind of trending higher, staying above the 20-day SMA. So we're above the 50, the 50's in yellow, the 20's in blue or magenta or whatever color that is. And the 200-day SMA is still it's just a shy below my break-even point. So that's been a good little climb. So a lot of movement overnight in the Dow futures. That represents a pretty nice movement. Will it continue? Let's hope so. Let's hope we have a big up day this Monday morning. When the market opens, hopefully we'll open significantly higher. However, it shows you that there's a lot of movement in stocks over in the after hours. And I mean, if I had waited until Monday morning till the usual hours for market trading, the 9:30 to 4 hours where most people trade, where the volume is much higher. You can see my volume chart. That volume is steady up until the close Friday, and then after hours you have a very low volume, but it has been picking up in the last few hours, and fortunately we've kept the trajectory higher. There was a little pullback. If you look at the 1-minute chart, wow, it looks like we really had a pullback there, but that's why the 1-minute chart can be rather deceiving. You had a pullback there and then shot back up. But if you look at the 15-minute chart, the pullback doesn't seem quite as dramatic. And it's been a pretty steady climb. And with the SMAs, you can see that the 20 crossed over the 50, and the Dow has steadily climbed higher and stayed above the 20 SMA, and it looks like it's headed towards the 200-day moving average, and hopefully we'll get there. This is always an interesting time of morning for me. It's 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is there was a time where I would trade. I wouldn't trade that much, but I didn't have access to the to trade the DAX futures at the time. However, I would get up. Well, I would be up really. Um, I I've been working nights for quite a while, and I'm used to being up at night in the wee hours of the morning. I sleep better during the day, so my body's used to that. Um, but at 2 o'clock in the morning, the the there were some traders that would trade in London, and they would trade the DAX, and I would just kind of watch them trade. I would have positions in the Nasdaq or in U.S. equities, but there wasn't nearly as much activity as which would go on with the DAX. And these traders were just all over it. They were heavy duty. They really knew what they were doing, and it seemed like they were making a lot of money. But I would just listen to them, and I would notice that a lot of times when they stopped trading, because there was a lot of times there was a lot of volatility while they were trading in both the DAX and in the U.S. markets, in the U.S. futures. And when they would stop trading around 4 a.m., things would kind of quiet down. And then the U.S. market, I noticed, would tend to go back to its trend higher if it was going higher. Once that little 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. session of DAX trading was over. I'm not saying the DAX. I'm not sure what time the DAX closed. I guess it closed at 2 p.m. like all the other London European stock exchange. But I guess their opening and busiest trading or their busiest trading hours are similar to the U.S. markets, where when we open, our busiest trading activity is probably between 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. I guess theirs is between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that was my observation at that time. And I just noticed that the U.S. markets would kind of wake up around 4 a.m. So although it's tempting for me to take profit on the one contract that I purchased at the open of the futures market, since it has climbed higher and helped me get closer to break even, I'm tempted to take a profit just in case we turn south. Then I would have the ability to buy it back. On the other hand, I'm thinking that this trend might continue at least through the open of the U.S. markets. And it may be more beneficial for me to just hold on to all 7 contracts for now. I am, at the start, when this red candle, the open went straight down, I was down over $2,000. As you can see now, I'm only down $427, $416. So there you have it, 409, 416. Now, what I will do is if we touch that or get close to that 200-day moving average, I'll probably take that contract off, that one contract off, just in case we get some resistance, some pullback at the 200-day SMA. Well, that's where we are. It's about 4:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's the Dow futures. That's what it's done overnight.